Final Fantasy VII is now over 20 years old and continues to be regarded as one of the greatest ever JRPGs. It introduced the genre and series to millions of new players with its imaginative characters, a unique setting, and that influence had a lasting impact. Square Enix is set to deliver a long-awaited remake, but as is often the case with Square games, just look at Kingdom Hearts 3 as an example. We've been waiting an incredibly long time. After failing to emerge at E3 2018, game director Tetsuya Nomura has said production is going well. Hopefully, we'll hear more soon. Pre-order Final Fantasy VII Remake at Amazon.co.uk. Amazon.com. Final Fantasy VII Remake news. What's the latest? Recent comments by Reddit user Dan Tsukasa following an interview with Final Fantasy VII Remake's art director, Via Resetera, goes into depth about the project's allegedly messy development cycle. Previously outsourced to developer CyberConnect 2 before returning to be worked on internally at Square Enix, apparently, much of the work from that 2-year period has been scrapped. They don't have 4 years of work, they have 2. The announcement that Square was taking the game away from CyberConnect 2, they didn't take it away and continue it, they started it again because CyberConnect's work was just so useless and not far enough along, but still far enough along that remaking it was faster than refactoring it. It wasn't in a good state at all. Tsukasa explains. It remains unclear if the entirety of CyberConnect 2's work has been scrapped, or if parts of the mechanics and assets developed remain part of Final Fantasy VII Remake. We imagine it's the latter given the title's presumed size and scope. Related, Dragon Quest XI. Despite these obvious setbacks, the interview debates that Final Fantasy VII Remake may be further along than we think. Although, you shouldn't get your hopes up, it could be far along. It depends how much they're outsourcing and how optimized their workflow is. As the FFXV workflow was super inefficient for a hell of a long time, if that's improved and if they're doing things modularly like I imagine, then it's certainly possible they're far along with the first release. Speaking in an interview with Japanese magazine Famitsu, game director Tetsuya Nomura said Final Fantasy VII Remake is ahead of Kingdom Hearts 3 in some respects. Nomura, who is working on both projects simultaneously, has said some elements such as cutscenes are coming along nicely. However, he declined to comment further on development. Now it resides internally at Square Enix. Trusted Reviews has compiled all the news, information and trailers you need for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Related, best PS4 games. What is Final Fantasy VII Remake? Developed by Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a complete reconstruction of the original game that maintains the iconic narrative, characters and locations fans will know and love. You play as Cloud Strife, a mercenary who finds himself working for Avalanche, a terrorist group with plans to save the planet from Shinra, an evil corporation ruling over millions in the dystopian city of Midgar. Related, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Final Fantasy VII Remake release date. When is it coming out? Final Fantasy VII Remake will be told across 3 separate games, which will, presumably, have their own individual release dates. It will essentially be a full-scale game for each part of the multi-part series. In 13, each installment told the story from a different angle. It was kind of like approaching an unknown territory in a sense. Kitte's told Game Informer. Square Enix is yet to confirm whether each part will be a full-priced affair, or will follow a digital episode structure similar to something like Telltale. The narrative, characters and locations from Final Fantasy VII are instantly iconic, propelled into the zeitgeist of any gamer growing up in the 1990s. With that being said, Square Enix is under a lot of pressure to deliver an experience that feels both faithful and unique to the source material. Related, upcoming PS4 games. Final Fantasy VII Remake is intended as a direct retelling of the 1997 original, albeit with a few caveats to accommodate modern generation standards. It is still unclear whether or not all the locations and characters from the original game will make an appearance. Specific plot elements are also expected to be altered in some way to be more relatable for modern gamers. Completely reworking something as instantly recognizable as Final Fantasy VII is a risky proposition, but one Square Enix is more than willing to tackle. FF7 Remake is making some major changes to the established battle system, introducing a formula more akin to Kingdom Hearts or Devil May Cry than anything else. The turn-based battles that enthralled us back in our childhood bedrooms are no more, replaced by a more actively dynamic experience. Combat and exploration now take place in real time, much like Final Fantasy XV, so it's safe to assume that battle transitions have been removed entirely. Cloud and friends will now explore a world populated by enemies as opposed to traversing a separate world map. Related, best PS4 deals. Considering the experience is to be split across multiple games, it may or may not be open world. Exploration will no doubt play a part, but we may be restricted to locations contextually important to the story as opposed to the open-ended nature of the original. Hopefully, this isn't the case, but as it stands, it's far too early to tell. Related, best RPGs. Final Fantasy VII Remake trailers, how does it look? Square Enix has given only a few brief yet exciting glimpses at the long-awaited remake since its reveal at E3 2015. Here's one of the earliest trailers, E3 2015 reveal trailer. This is taken from the very beginning of the game, giving us the impression that development is still in the early stages. That being said, it's wonderful to see such beloved characters remastered in HD alongside a remastered rendition of the orchestral score. The battle system is shaping up pretty nicely, too. What are your thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Remake? Let us know on Facebook and Twitter at Trusted Reviews.